The Horizon Zero Dawn Remaster is here, promising enhanced visuals and better performance on PC. But is this upgrade just a visual flex, or does it actually change the experience? Don't get me wrong, the game looks stunning, but in real-world performance, well, there are a few surprises. The flickering textures, weirdly mismatched audio levels, and some jarring clipping you'll notice pretty quickly. I'm Cliffhanger DK, and in this video we're not just talking specs, we're diving into what these changes actually feel like on a real everyday gaming rig. I'll be running benchmarks side by side, showing you how this remaster performs, not just on paper, but for real, actual gamers. I'll even show you the changes I made for jumping from 62 frames per second to over 130 without sacrificing much on the visuals. But does that make it worth the cost? Well, stick around because I've got a few insights you'll want to hear. Now that we have the intro out of the way, I want to tell you that the reason I wanted to make this video is that I feel like whenever I watch these Digital Foundry PC Gamer comparisons between the original version and remastered version, it's always a bit too clean for me. Like I want to see what the game looks like on an actual gamer rig. So in this video we're using my daily PC. This is what I do videos on, this is what I game on, this is what I do emails and editing, and everything I do on this PC. So here we're running an RTX 4070 with a 13th generation Intel 5 processor. And though I am aware that this is definitely above the average gamer you see on the Steam user tests, I would say that this is nothing crazy. Like, this is definitely within reach for most gamers. Now, the original version of Horizon Zero Dawn, I could run that Ultra, but the remaster has a bit more bells and whistles, and obviously this will require a bit of tweaking, but overall I feel like the remastered version looks a lot better. Now, if you're watching this video because you want to know how the game plays, this is the wrong video for you. Like, any review will tell you that the remastered version and the original version is 100% same game, albeit with a few changes to some minor cutscenes. Nothing dramatic, but story-wise and gameplay-wise, like, this is exactly the same game. That being said, I have to admit, it looks gorgeous. You can really tell that the developers did actually do something. I don't personally feel like this feels like a cash grab. So for me, that was a big concern. Did they just up-res a couple of textures? Definitely not. You see a lot more effects here. The water looks so much better. The character models look so much better. However, some of the graphical issues the former version of the game had, those have definitely carried over and are not necessarily graphics related as much as they're engine related. So I'll give you a few examples. Something I found very jarring was just textures clipping into each other. Not a huge deal, definitely something you should expect at the PlayStation 4 generation, but with the graphics being updated and looking very modern and clean, it sticks out way more, because when the graphics are cleaner, it's less expected and less acceptable. So, for example, you see the cape here, it's constantly clipping in and out. The textures and the cape is just flying all over the place. Some of the hair textures are going in and out. And it's not a big deal, but occasionally while playing I would see some textures on characters' faces, for example face tattoos that would flicker in and out. So this is something you should be aware of. I think some of these are fixable, some of these related to in-game items and physics. I don't think they can fix those. I think that's perfectly fine, just go in with the correct expectation. Now, something I do expect them to fix is that whenever you have a pre-rendered cutscene, the audio level just drops drastically, meaning that when you're watching a cutscene, suddenly the audio is very low. Maybe you'll turn up your headset a little bit, and then you're back in gameplay. Now the audio is super loud. Just a minor detail, and I think this is just a bit of a launch woe that hopefully they'll fix in an update or two. Other than that, I of course did some test benchmarks. The original version of the game, I could run that at 100 frames per second, everything set to ultra, no problem. But even with these settings, the game looked a bit dated. Of course, I wanted a one-to-one comparison with the remaster, so I went in there, I cranked everything up to ultra. I even added DLSS quality because in 2024, really, you should. It's free performance. And here, because obviously the game has more bells and whistles, I got a little bit above 60 frames per second, which I think is respectable. However, the original version of the game didn't have frame generation. Personally, I feel that frame generation is a huge boon of the NVIDIA graphics cards of this generation. Some people will say that you're adding latency, but when you're playing a single player game, and if on top of that you also add NVIDIA Reflex plus Boost, you don't really feel the latency when you're playing. So in order to get a more smooth experience, I lowered the settings from very high to high, so the second highest setting in the remaster. I added frame generation, I kept DLSS at quality, and with everything set to high, with NVIDIA frame generation and with DLSS at quality, I hit just above 130 frames per second. Personally, when I play a game, I really don't think the ultra settings are worth it. Sure, if you stand still and you look at every blade of grass and really zoom in on everything, I'm sure you'll see a difference. Of course there's a difference. But when playing at 1440p, at very high, and you're moving around just playing the game, you really don't notice. So overall, if you're like me, you kind of left the game after not playing it that much, or you have it sitting in your library and you're wondering if this €10, $10 upgrade is worth it, my clear answer is yes. If you're intending to play through the game from start to end, definitely I would recommend this graphical upgrade. Normally at this point I would refer you to one of my other videos, but seeing as I don't have anything that really matches this one, I have let YouTube recommend whatever video they feel is more suitable for you. I hope to see you there, and if not, I wish you a great day. Have a good one.